The first thing she said when she woke up from the coma wasn't, "Where am I?" or "Who are you?" It was, "Tell Detective Ruiz. The gun is under the floorboard in the guest room." We all froze. Her name was Claire Bennett, 34 years old, a librarian from Boulder, Colorado. She'd been in a car accident 3 days earlier, head-on collision, ejected from the vehicle, found unconscious in a ditch. No criminal record, no police involvement, no connection to any Detective Ruiz. And yet, she spoke with chilling certainty. I checked her vitals. Pupils reactive, speech clear, no signs of delirium. "Claire," I said gently, "who is Detective Ruiz?" She looked at me, confused. "The detective working on Daniel's case. He's been looking for the gun for weeks." "Who's Daniel?" Her eyes filled with tears. "My husband." But here's the thing. Claire Bennett was never married. Her emergency contact was her sister. Her social media showed solo hiking trips, book club meetups, quiet Sunday mornings with coffee and a cat named Poe. No husband, no Daniel. We called hospital security. They contacted the local police. 2 hours later, Detective Lena Ruiz walked into the ICU. Pale, shaken. "Daniel Mercer," she whispered. "He was murdered 6 months ago in Denver. We never found the murder weapon. His wife disappeared the night he died. We thought she was the killer." Claire's eyes widened. "I didn't kill him." "You're not his wife," the detective said quietly. "His wife's name was Lena Mercer. She vanished, presumed dead." Claire started sobbing. "But I remember. The fight. The gun. The blood on the rug. I remember running. And then nothing until now." We ran every test. MRI, EEG, toxicology. Her brain showed signs of post-traumatic amnesia, but nothing that could explain this. Then neurology suggested something even stranger. Fugue state with cross-identity recall, a rare dissociative condition where after severe trauma, the brain latches on to another person's memories, like a radio tuning into the wrong frequency. But how? How could Claire, a quiet librarian from Boulder, suddenly hold the memories of a missing murder suspect? That night, I stayed late. I pulled up the Lena Mercer case file, and that's when I saw it. Lena Mercer's last known location? A roadside diner, 12 miles from where Claire's car crashed. Same night, same rainstorm. I checked security footage from the diner. There, in grainy black and white, Claire's car, and Lena Mercer running toward it, soaped, terrified, holding a duffel bag. They never met, but in the chaos of the storm, in the split second before impact, something passed between them. Not just physical force, but memory, identity, guilt. And now, Claire was living it. The next morning, Claire asked for a pen and paper. She wrote for 3 hours straight, page after page of details only Lena Mercer could know. The brand of Daniel's cologne, the serial number on the gun, the secret bank account in Grand Cayman. Detective Ruiz read it silently. Her hands trembled. "This is real," she said, every word. But Claire wasn't just recalling facts. At one point she looked up and said, "He didn't deserve to die, but he left me no choice." Then she burst into tears. Not Claire's tears, Lena's. We brought in a forensic psychologist.
"She's not faking," he said. "This is dissociative possession, a documented, though extremely rare, phenomenon. When a brain is flooded with trauma, it can absorb the psychic residue of another person in the same moment of crisis." It sounded like science fiction, but the evidence was undeniable. Claire led police to the guest room of a vacant house in Denver. They pulled up the floorboard, found the gun. Ballistics matched Daniel Mercer's murder. Lena Mercer's fingerprints were on the grip. Case closed. But Claire wasn't free. Every night she'd wake up screaming. Lena's nightmares, not hers. She'd call the detective Elena instead of Detective Ruiz. She'd ask for coffee, black, 2 sugars. Lena's order, not hers. Her sister tried to visit, but Claire didn't recognize her. "She's not my sister," she told me. "My sister died in a car crash when I was 12. That was Lena's memory. I started to worry. Was Claire still in there? Or had Lena taken over completely? We tried hypnosis, memory exercises, sensory grounding. Nothing worked. Then, one afternoon, Claire went quiet. She stared out the window for a long time. Finally, she said, "I think I know why it happened." "Why what happened?" "Why I got her memories." She turned to me, eyes clear for the first time in days. "Because no one else was listening." Lena ran for 6 months, hid in motels, slept with one eye open. She wanted to confess, but she was too afraid. And in that final moment, as Claire's car skidded toward her, Lena made a choice. She didn't jump out of the way. She stepped into the path, not to die, but to pass the truth on, like a final act of redemption. "She gave me her memories," Claire whispered, "so someone would finally know the truth." I didn't know what to say, so I just sat with her. In the silence, I wondered, is memory owned? Or is it just energy, waiting for someone to carry it forward? A week later, Claire started remembering her own life again, slowly, fragments at first. Her cat, her favorite book, the way her sister laughed. Lena's memories didn't vanish, but they faded, like old photographs left in the sun. By the time she was discharged, she was mostly Claire again. But she kept one thing. Every Sunday, she visits Lena's grave, leaves a white rose, and whispers, "I told them." Last month, Claire published a memoir, "The Woman Who Borrowed My Mind." It's not about trauma, not really. It's about witnessing, about how sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone is hold their truth until they can't. I saw her at a book signing last week. She looked peaceful, grounded. After the event, she came up to me. "You know," she said, "I used to think memory was like a vault, locked, private, yours alone. And now?" I asked. "Now I think it's more like a river. It flows, it connects, it carries things, even across lives." She smiled. Lena needed someone to remember for her, and I was there. That's all. I asked if she ever felt haunted. "Not haunted," she said. "Honored." Because in the end, Lena didn't just give her a memory. She gave her a purpose. And Claire? She turned pain into justice, guilt into grace, and silence into a story that needed to be told. In the ER, we see people at their most broken, but Claire taught me something profound. Sometimes breaking open is how the light gets in, and sometimes it's also how someone else's light gets out. I still think about that night. The rain, the crash, the 2 women who never met, yet shared a single shattering moment, one running from her past, the other driving into hers. And in the collision, truth was born, not through evidence, not through interrogation, but through empathy, through one brain choosing to carry another's burden, even if only for a little while. Now when I see a patient in distress, I don't just ask, "What happened?" I ask, "What are you trying to tell me?" Because you never know. Maybe their story isn't just theirs. Maybe it's someone else's last hope. And maybe, just maybe, they're trusting you to pass it on. This is ER Confessionals. Stay open and never underestimate the power of a single moment to change 2 lives forever. Because in the silence between heartbeats, stories wait, and sometimes they choose the most unexpected person to tell them. Claire still has dreams about Lena, but now she doesn't fight them. She listens. And in the morning, she writes it down. Not as a patient,
not as a victim, but as a keeper of truth. And in a world full of noise, that might be the rarest kind of healing there is. So the next time you hear a story that seems impossible, don't dismiss it. Lean in. Because behind every strange memory is a life that needed to be remembered. And behind every witness is a soul that refused to let it fade. This is ER Confessionals. Thank you for listening. Stay human. And remember, some truths don't need proof. They just need someone brave enough to carry them. Even if only for a little while. Even if it changes you forever. Because in the end, we're all just vessels for the stories that matter. And sometimes, the most important story isn't yours. It's the one you were meant to tell for someone else.